Good evening, my friends. I want to talk about something today that resonates deeply in all of us, the love we give and the love we accept. Because here's the truth, half love is not love at all. It's a shadow of what love is meant to be. And I believe every single one of us is deserving of the kind of love that is whole, unwavering, and true. We've all been there, haven't we? We've made excuses for those who couldn't meet us where we stood. We've waited in the gray areas, hoping for clarity, for commitment, for more. But here's what I've learned about life. Half lovers can only offer you half of what you need because they are not whole themselves. You cannot expect to receive whole love if you don't believe you are worthy of it. Self-love is the foundation that teaches others how to love you. Know your value and don't compromise for half-hearted affection. Half love will leave you drained, confused, and constantly questioning your worth. True love uplifts and completes, while half love creates a void. Choose relationships that nourish your soul. Genuine love flows in both directions. If you're giving all your time, energy, and heart while receiving only fragments in return, you are not in a balanced relationship. Demand reciprocity not as a privilege, but as a standard. Only when you are whole within yourself can you attract and sustain a relationship with someone who is also whole. Focus on personal growth, healing, and self-awareness before seeking completeness in another person. Walking away from a half lover isn't a failure, it's a victory for your self-respect. Letting go creates space for the right kind of love to enter your life, one that matches your capacity to love and be loved. Love is not meant to be a constant struggle. While every relationship requires effort, it should also provide safety, comfort, and peace. A half lover brings chaos, but true love will feel like coming home. Self-worth is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship we build, especially when it comes to love. It shapes how we perceive ourselves, how we allow others to treat us, and the standards we set for what we are willing to accept. Without self-worth, we run the risk of settling for less than we deserve, of mistaking half-hearted gestures for genuine care, and of clinging to connections that deplete rather than nurture us. Understanding and embracing self-worth is not just a personal journey, it is a necessary prerequisite for cultivating the kind of love that is whole, authentic, and life-affirming. When we lack self-worth, we often find ourselves chasing validation outside of ourselves. This external pursuit creates a cycle of dependence where our sense of value is tied to someone else's approval or affection. We start to believe that love must be earned through compromise, through shrinking ourselves, or through tolerating behavior that doesn't align with our needs and desires. In these moments, we forget an essential truth: love that is conditional on someone else's terms is not love at all. It is a transaction, and in such a dynamic, the deeper, soul-nourishing connection we crave will always remain out of reach. True self-worth begins with recognizing that you are enough as you are. This recognition requires introspection, courage, and sometimes unlearning years of societal or relational conditioning that taught you to doubt your inherent value. It is about looking at yourself, your flaws, your strengths, your quirks, and embracing all of it without judgment. This doesn't mean you ignore areas where growth is needed. Rather, it means you approach yourself with kindness, understanding that your worth is not diminished by your imperfections. Only when you hold this belief can you show up fully in relationships, offering your authentic self rather than a version you think others want to see. When you have self-worth, you set boundaries not out of fear or selfishness, but out of respect for yourself and the love you deserve. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that communicate your needs and protect your emotional well-being. Without them, you risk losing yourself in the process of loving someone else. People with a strong sense of self-worth understand that saying no to what doesn't serve them is a way of saying yes to themselves. They recognize that love should not come at the expense of their peace, self-respect, or happiness. Relationships rooted in self-worth feel different because they are not built on neediness or dependency. Instead, they thrive on mutual respect, trust, and the freedom to be individuals within a partnership. When you value yourself, you naturally gravitate toward people who also see your worth. You no longer feel compelled to chase after those who offer only crumbs of affection or who fail to meet you halfway. You understand that love is not about filling a void, but about sharing the abundance of who you are with someone who cherishes and reciprocates that gift. Conversely, without self-worth, we often attract relationships that mirror our insecurities. A lack of self-esteem can lead us to accept half-hearted love because we believe that is all we can get or all we deserve. We tolerate emotional unavailability, broken promises, and inconsistent effort because we fear that walking away will leave us with nothing. But the truth is, staying in such relationships leaves us with even less. It drains us emotionally, chips away at our confidence, and reinforces the false narrative that we are not enough. Cultivating self-worth is not a one-time event, it is an ongoing practice. It requires daily acts of self-care, self-reflection, and self-compassion. It involves surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and distancing yourself from those who make you question your value. It also means learning to silence the inner critic that tells you you're too much or not enough. Instead, you replace that voice with affirmations of your worth, reminding yourself that you are deserving of love, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Self-worth also empowers you to be patient in love. It allows you to wait for a relationship that aligns with your values and vision rather than settling out of fear of being alone. It teaches you that solitude is not a punishment but an opportunity to deepen your connection with yourself. When you are grounded in your worth, being single doesn't feel like a void, it feels like freedom, a space to grow and prepare for the kind of love that matches your energy and intentions. Loving yourself fully is the most radical act you can commit in a world that often profits from your insecurities. It is a declaration that you will not settle for less than you deserve, that you will not chase love that diminishes you, and that you will not allow anyone to treat you as an afterthought. Instead, you demand the love that mirrors the respect, care, and devotion you show to yourself. And when that kind of love arrives, it doesn't feel like something you have to hold onto tightly or fear losing. It feels natural, expansive, and safe because it is rooted in the unshakable foundation of your self-worth. Half love is one of the most deceptive experiences we can endure, a mirage that appears to satisfy the deep longing for connection, but ultimately leaves us empty and unfulfilled. It whispers promises of affection, commitment, and care, but never fully delivers on any of them. Half love cannot sustain you because it is not built on the foundation of mutual respect, genuine effort, and emotional security that true love requires. It is fragile, incomplete, and incapable of nurturing the soul in the way love is meant to. When we settle for half love, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of emotional hunger, constantly reaching for something that always seems just out of reach. The problem with half love is that it creates an illusion of closeness without the depth or substance necessary for a real relationship. It may start with passion, excitement, and the thrill of newness, but over time, its inadequacies become painfully clear. Half love shows up in the form of inconsistent effort, vague commitments, and a lack of genuine emotional investment. It might feel like love in fleeting moments when a sweet text arrives or when the person shows up just when you're about to give up, but these moments are not enough to sustain the connection. They are breadcrumbs, not the feast of love that you deserve. Half love often places all the emotional labor on one person while the other keeps their heart guarded or their priorities elsewhere. In such relationships, one partner may give endlessly, hoping their efforts will spark a deeper commitment or emotional reciprocity. But love is not a one-sided transaction. It is a partnership where both individuals actively contribute to the growth and stability of the bond. When only one person is fully invested, the imbalance creates frustration, resentment, and eventually emotional exhaustion. You cannot pour your whole self into a relationship and expect it to thrive when the other person is only offering fragments of their time, attention, and affection. One of the most painful aspects of half love is the uncertainty it breeds. You find yourself questioning where you stand, doubting your own worth, and second-guessing your instincts. Half love thrives on ambiguity. It offers just enough to keep you hopeful, but not enough to make you feel secure. This constant emotional limbo can be incredibly draining as it forces you to overanalyze every word, gesture, or interaction in search of signs that the love you seek is truly there. But love should not feel like a puzzle to solve or a game to win. True love provides clarity, not confusion. When you allow half love to take up space in your life, it leaves little room for the kind of relationship that can truly sustain you. By holding on to something incomplete, you close yourself off to the possibility of experiencing a love that is whole, supportive, and fulfilling. This is why letting go of half love is an act of self-respect and courage. It is a way of saying, I deserve more than this. I deserve to be loved fully, not partially. And while walking away may feel painful in the moment, it is a necessary step toward creating the life and love you truly desire. Another danger of half love is that it can distort your perception of what love should be. If you remain in a half-loving relationship for too long, you may start to believe that this is all there is, that love is meant to be hard, that it's normal to feel constantly unsure, or that your needs are too much to ask for. This is not true. Love, when it is real and whole, is not about enduring emotional scraps. It is about mutual growth, support, and the freedom to be your authentic self without fear of rejection or abandonment. Half-love also prevents you from experiencing the full spectrum of joy and intimacy that comes with a true connection. It keeps you in a state of emotional limbo where you may feel moments of happiness, but never the deep, abiding contentment that comes from being fully loved and accepted. True love uplifts you, gives you strength, and encourages you to become the best version of yourself. Half-love, on the other hand, can leave you feeling diminished, as if you're constantly striving to prove your worth or earn the affection that should be freely given. To recognize and move beyond half-love, you must first acknowledge its presence and its impact on your well-being. This requires an honest assessment of your relationship dynamics and a willingness to confront the fear of letting go. Half-love often lingers because we convince ourselves that something is better than nothing, or because we fear being alone more than we fear being unfulfilled. But choosing yourself, choosing to honor your needs, your worth, and your capacity for real love is never a mistake. It is a declaration of self-worth and a step toward the kind of life you deserve. Love is meant to be a source of nourishment, not depletion. It should fill you with a sense of peace and belonging, not leave you questioning your value or your place in someone's life. Half-love, no matter how tempting it may seem in moments of loneliness or doubt, will never be enough to sustain you. Only a love that is whole, mutual, and unwavering can truly do that. Love is a delicate balance, a dance between two people who give and receive in equal measure. It thrives on the principle of reciprocity, the mutual exchange of care, respect, and effort that creates harmony and connection. Without reciprocity, love becomes lopsided, a one-sided transaction rather than the profound bond it is meant to be. True love is not about one person doing all the giving while the other passively receives. It is a partnership where both individuals actively participate, ensuring that the relationship remains balanced, fulfilling, and sustainable. Reciprocity in love means showing up for one another, not just in words, but in actions. It's about being willing to give as much as you take, to invest as much as you withdraw, and to prioritize the relationship's well-being over individual convenience. This doesn't mean keeping score or demanding perfect equality in every moment. Relationships are not transactional in that way. Instead, it's about the shared commitment to contribute equally to the emotional, physical, and mental aspects of the relationship. It's about recognizing that love is a two-way street requiring effort and energy from both sides to move forward. When love lacks reciprocity, it becomes exhausting for the person who is doing all the giving. They may pour their heart, time, and energy into the relationship only to feel unappreciated or taken for granted. This imbalance can lead to resentment, frustration, and eventually emotional burnout. Love, when it is real, should replenish you rather than drain you. It should feel like a source of mutual strength, not a burden that one person bears alone. Reciprocity ensures that both partners feel valued, respected, and cared for, creating a dynamic that uplifts rather than depletes. One of the most profound ways to express reciprocity in love is through active listening and emotional support. When one partner shares their fears, dreams, or vulnerabilities, the other responds with empathy and understanding. This exchange builds trust and intimacy, reminding both individuals that their voices matter and their feelings are valid. Without this mutual effort, the relationship can become one-sided, where one person feels heard and supported while the other feels ignored or dismissed. True reciprocity acknowledges that both partners' emotions and experiences are equally important, creating a safe space where love can flourish. Reciprocity also manifests in the willingness to compromise and adapt for the sake of the relationship. Love is not about rigidly adhering to personal preferences or agendas. It's about finding common ground and making decisions that benefit both partners. This requires a spirit of generosity and cooperation, where each person is willing to sacrifice some individual comfort for the greater good of the partnership. When both individuals approach the relationship with this mindset, they create a dynamic of mutual respect and shared responsibility. However, if only one person is willing to compromise while the other remains inflexible, the imbalance can breed frustration and disconnection. Another essential aspect of reciprocity is expressing appreciation and gratitude. Love should never be taken for granted. It thrives on acknowledgement and affirmation. When one partner makes an effort, whether big or small, the other should recognize and appreciate it. This exchange of gratitude reinforces the bond and encourages both individuals to continue giving their best to the relationship. Without this acknowledgement, love can begin to feel transactional or obligatory, losing the warmth and sincerity that make it special. Reciprocity ensures that both partners feel seen and valued for their contributions, fostering a sense of mutual appreciation. Physical and emotional intimacy also depend on reciprocity. In a healthy relationship, both partners actively seek to meet each other's needs, whether through affection, communication, or shared experiences. This mutual effort deepens the connection and strengthens the bond, ensuring that neither partner feels neglected or unimportant. When one person consistently prioritizes their own needs while ignoring their partner's, it creates an emotional gap that can be difficult to bridge. Reciprocity ensures that both individuals feel equally invested in the relationship, creating a dynamic of balance and harmony. It's important to note that reciprocity does not mean perfection or symmetry in every aspect of the relationship. Life circumstances, work stress, personal challenges, or health issues may sometimes require one partner to give more while the other receives. However, in a truly reciprocal relationship, this imbalance is temporary and fluid. Over time, the roles shift and both partners take turns supporting and being supported. This flexibility is what distinguishes reciprocal love from one-sided relationships where the imbalance becomes permanent and unchanging. Wholeness is the foundation of any fulfilling relationship, and it begins with the individual. When you are whole, you approach life with a sense of completeness, inner peace, and self-awareness. You are not seeking someone to fill gaps in your life or to validate your worth. Instead, you are looking for a partner to share the abundance of love, joy, and purpose that already exists within you. This sense of wholeness is magnetic. It attracts people who are also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually complete. Wholeness attracts wholeness because it creates a relationship built on mutual respect, shared values, and authentic connection rather than dependency or unfulfilled needs. When you are whole, you have taken the time to understand yourself deeply. You know your strengths, your weaknesses, and your dreams. You have confronted your fears and insecurities and worked to heal the wounds that might have shaped your past. This self-awareness allows you to enter a relationship with clarity about what you want and need, as well as what you can offer. You are not looking for someone to save you or complete you, because you recognize that your value is inherent, not dependent on external validation. This confidence in your wholeness sets the tone for a healthy and balanced relationship. In contrast, relationships formed from a place of incompleteness often become entangled in unmet expectations and unspoken needs. When one or both partners are looking to the other to provide what they lack within themselves, the dynamic becomes strained. One person may feel overwhelmed by the pressure to be everything the other person needs, while the other may feel constantly let down when their partner cannot fulfill their every desire. This imbalance leads to frustration, resentment, and ultimately the erosion of the connection. Wholeness eliminates this dynamic by ensuring that each partner is responsible for their own happiness and self-worth. Being whole doesn't mean being perfect or never needing support. It means recognizing that you are enough, even as you continue to grow and evolve. It's about embracing your imperfections with grace and understanding that they do not define your worth. When you are whole, you approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You are able to give love freely without fear of losing yourself in the process. You are also able to receive love without questioning your deservingness or attaching conditions to it. This openness fosters a deep sense of trust and intimacy that is essential for a thriving partnership. Wholeness also allows you to set healthy boundaries, which are crucial for any relationship. When you know and value yourself, you are less likely to tolerate behaviors that undermine your well-being. You understand that boundaries are not about shutting people out, but about creating a space where mutual respect and understanding can flourish. This clarity and self-respect attract partners who share similar values and are equally committed to maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship. Wholeness empowers you to communicate your needs clearly and to listen with empathy when your partner does the same. When two whole individuals come together, their relationship becomes a space of growth and expansion. They do not see each other as competitors or threats, but as teammates who support and inspire one another. They celebrate each other's successes without envy and provide comfort during challenges without losing themselves in the process. This balance creates a partnership that is resilient, adaptable, and deeply fulfilling. Both individuals retain their sense of identity while building a shared life that reflects their combined strengths and aspirations. Wholeness attracts wholeness because it creates relationships rooted in authenticity. When you are whole, you have no need to hide parts of yourself or to pretend to be someone you are not. You bring your full self to the table, and in doing so, you encourage your partner to do the same. This honesty lays the groundwork for trust and vulnerability, which are the cornerstones of deep and meaningful connection. A relationship built on wholeness is not about perfection, but about the freedom to be imperfect together, knowing that the love you share is strong enough to withstand challenges. Letting go is often one of the hardest decisions we face in life, especially when it comes to relationships. It can feel like a loss, as though we're giving up on something or someone we once cherished deeply. However, the act of letting go is not about losing, it's about choosing yourself, your peace, and your well-being. It's about recognizing when something no longer serves your growth, your happiness, or your sense of purpose. Letting go is not a failure, it is an act of courage, self-respect, and strength. Holding on to something that is no longer aligned with your needs or values can be deeply draining. Whether it's a toxic relationship, an unfulfilled dream, or a situation that has run its course, clinging to what no longer fits keeps you trapped in a cycle of frustration and pain. It creates a false sense of security, making you believe that staying is safer than facing the unknown. But in truth, holding on often costs more than it gives. It can strip you of your joy, your energy, and your ability to embrace new opportunities. Letting go, on the other hand, opens the door to freedom, healing, and growth. One of the most challenging aspects of letting go is the fear of emptiness it may leave behind. We often worry about what will fill the space once we release what we've been holding on to. This fear can keep us tethered to unhealthy relationships or situations far longer than we should. But the space created by letting go is not a void, it is an invitation. It is a chance to welcome something new, something better, something that aligns with the person you are becoming. In that space, you find clarity, rediscover yourself, and begin to attract the people and experiences that truly resonate with your spirit. Letting go is not about erasing the past or denying the value of what you once held dear. It's about acknowledging that everything has a season and that some chapters of your life are meant to close so that others can begin. This doesn't diminish the significance of what came before, rather, it honors it. By letting go, you affirm that the time you spent, the love you gave, and the lessons you learned were not in vain. They were part of your journey, shaping who you are and preparing you for what lies ahead. The act of letting go also teaches you about resilience, and trust resilience to face the discomfort of change and trust in the process of life. It requires faith that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and that releasing what no longer serves you is an act of making room for what does. This trust can be difficult, especially when the future feels uncertain. But with every act of letting go, you strengthen your ability to move forward with grace and confidence, knowing that you are capable of navigating whatever comes next. Letting go is a form of self-love. It is a way of telling yourself that you deserve better than to hold onto something that diminishes your light. It is about setting boundaries both with others and with yourself to protect your peace and honor your worth. When you let go, you choose to prioritize your happiness and well-being over the fear of change or the comfort of familiarity. You remind yourself that you are not defined by what you leave behind, but by the choices you make moving forward. Another important truth about letting go is that it doesn't mean forgetting or erasing. The memories, experiences, and emotions tied to what you're releasing remain a part of you. They are threads in the fabric of your story, woven into the person you've become. Letting go is not about severing those ties completely, but about freeing yourself from the grip they have on your present and future. It's about carrying the lessons forward while leaving behind the pain, the doubt, or the limitation that no longer belongs in your life. Letting go also teaches us to embrace impermanence. Nothing in life is truly permanent, not people, not situations, not even the feelings we hold on to so tightly. Recognizing this truth can be liberating. It allows us to stop clinging to what we cannot control and instead focus on what we can, our own actions, choices, and mindset. When we accept the transient nature of life, we become more adaptable, more open to change, and more willing to release what no longer serves us. Love should be a sanctuary, a place where you feel safe, valued, and accepted for who you truly are. It should not feel like a constant struggle or a battlefield where you have to fight for attention, respect, or affection. Relationships at their core are meant to be a source of comfort and connection, a place where you can find solace in the arms of another. When love feels like a battlefield, it creates tension, insecurity, and emotional exhaustion. Instead of feeling nurtured and supported, you feel drained and uncertain. True love is built on mutual understanding, trust, and kindness, not conflict, power struggles, or emotional warfare. When love feels like a battlefield, it often stems from unresolved issues, miscommunication, or unhealed wounds. In such relationships, partners are constantly at odds with one another, either because they are trying to outmaneuver each other or because they are trying to protect themselves from emotional harm. Every interaction feels like a potential confrontation, and every disagreement feels like a major clash. The energy in such relationships is charged with defensiveness, blame, and fear rather than openness, compromise, and compassion. In these environments, it is easy to lose sight of the love you once shared and instead become consumed by the constant emotional turmoil. On the other hand, love that feels like home is grounded in the safety of unconditional acceptance. When love feels like home, you can be yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. You can show up as you are with all your imperfections and vulnerabilities and still be loved for the person you are. There is a deep sense of peace in this kind of love because it is not based on trying to win or prove your worth. Instead, it is about being present with each other and creating a space where both individuals can grow and evolve. This kind of love fosters communication, understanding, and mutual respect, where both partners feel heard and valued rather than unheard and dismissed. In a healthy relationship, both people should feel like equals, working together towards shared goals and aspirations. There may be disagreements or moments of tension, but they should be resolved through cooperation and compromise, not through manipulation or control. Love that feels like home encourages dialogue and understanding rather than creating walls of defensiveness or resentment. When love becomes a battlefield, it is often a sign that one or both individuals are struggling with their own insecurities or emotional wounds. These unresolved issues can manifest in the form of power struggles, jealousy, or emotional distance, which ultimately undermine the foundation of the relationship. Love should be a partnership where both individuals support each other through the challenges of life. When love feels like a battlefield, it often feels like one partner is carrying the weight of the relationship while the other is either too distant or too demanding. This imbalance creates feelings of frustration and exhaustion, making it difficult to maintain a healthy connection. In a relationship that feels like home, both partners share the load, offering emotional support and encouragement during difficult times. There is no need to compete for validation or affection, because both individuals know that they are enough just as they are. True love is not about winning or losing, it is about growing together and creating a space where both people can flourish. Love that feels like home is a safe harbor where you can weather the storms of life together, knowing that you have each other's backs. In contrast, a battlefield relationship is one where you feel like you are constantly fighting for survival. The emotional toll of constantly being on guard, defending yourself, or trying to outwit your partner can leave you feeling empty, disconnected, and lonely. It takes away the joy and excitement that love is supposed to bring, replacing it with fear and uncertainty. In relationships where love feels like home, there is a sense of mutual respect and trust. Both partners value each other's boundaries and work together to create a loving, supportive environment. In such relationships, there is no need to prove who is right or wrong, because the goal is not to be right, but to understand and support each other. Disagreements are handled with empathy, not with anger or contempt. Both people are willing to listen to each other's perspectives and find common ground, knowing that their bond is more important than being right. Love should feel like a refuge, a place where you can retreat to after a long day and find solace, comfort, and encouragement. When love becomes a battlefield, it strips away the warmth and safety that are essential to emotional connection. It leaves both partners feeling drained, defensive, and unsure of where they stand. Love that feels like home offers a sense of stability and peace, where both partners are committed to creating a healthy, loving environment. This kind of love provides the foundation for a strong, lasting relationship, one where both individuals feel valued, supported, and loved.